What do you think is one of the biggest challenges that today's agents face?
Whether it's someone in entrepreneurship or someone in the real estate business, it's getting clarity on what the right path is for you personally. They get stuck in what to do because they're looking for someone else to tell them, here's the secret formula. I just call it trusting yourself. Go try different methods that other people have had success with and see what resonates with you, and then kind of go all in. It's once you've exposed yourself to the different avenues of how you can be successful, choosing that one or two or three different ways in your industry. And then just like you said, burn the ships of the other one. Right. The one thing that takes is you believing in yourself, you trusting yourself, and you have confidence in the one thing that you've chosen. That's where I think people get caught up. They don't trust themselves.
Welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. I'm your host, Matt Milia, and in this podcast, we'll talk about the real, raw, uncut business success secrets you won't find anywhere else. Follow my journey from entry level to CEO. We discuss real actionable items you can plug into your business right away. To subscribe to our weekly top tips, you can go to www.mattpodcast.com and join our community of elite high-level performers. And if you're interested in our inside sales company, you can go to www.appointmentstoday.com to jump on a free strategy call. And now, stay tuned for our podcast. What is going on today, everybody? Happy Wednesday, and welcome to Business Insights with Matt Milia. And of course, this is episode number 12, which is crazy to think that we've already gone through 12 episodes. And this award, actually, that I have right here should really be presented to Jacqui, because Jacqui works with her husband at home, running an amazing business. And we do the same thing. So Jacqui, welcome on. I've got Jacqui Bowman, ladies and gents. And Jacqui, if you would tell everybody a little bit about yourself and tell everybody a little bit about what you do.
Sure. So Matt, thanks so much for having me. And you are so correct. I do work at home with my husband. I talk really loud. I call it being passionate. But it's great working at home together. We love it. I've been in the real estate industry for over 15 years. And currently we have a group here. We live in Kent, Ohio, and our group is called the Summit Group. We serve Summit and Portage County. And I also do real estate coaching. I coach real estate agents nationwide. I have clients in Alaska, California, Florida, all the way up to Oregon. I mean, it's pretty awesome. So I spend a lot of time coaching agents as well. So it's been pretty cool.
What are the challenges of someone in Alaska? Of course, 6 months of being in the dark. I mean, that could be a challenge, but
actually is really interesting. We do a lot of Zoom calls or video conference calls with group coaching, and we'll all have daylight, and her window is dark a lot. So, but she lives in Anchorage. Actually, I have a few agents up there now that I've networked with. So,
wow,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
I've heard that market's pretty phenomenal.
It's a good market. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people, average sales price. I was talking to one guy who was saying it's like $500,000-$600,000 and you get nice houses. But the darkness for part of the time and then the sun all the time in the 6 months. So it definitely makes you appreciate the Cleveland weather, to say the least.
Yes. For lack of better terms, it's like polar opposites. They either get a whole lot of daylight or they get no daylight.
Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy.
But they're probably used to it. So they just, extra vitamin D, just like we have to in Northeast Ohio at this time of year, right? Extra vitamin D.
And I was told by one of the guys too. He said that when they are in their dark season, they get tickets to travel to Hawaii for like a third of the price of what it would normally be anywhere else, so that they can get out of there. So yeah, that was actually a pretty good. I was like, oh well, there's a plus side. So
Right. No, so life is exciting. I have 2 children that live with me. My daughter's 17 and my son is 15. He lives with autism. My daughter that's 17, she's a go-getter, and she's gone to Africa and done mission trips, and So anybody that wants to
Wow.
talk about teenage kids, you can contact me about that as well, or autism or any of that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
I
it's
just do
huge.
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Well, so that brings me into one of my first questions. So I mean, as
Mhm.
far as, so you've been in the industry for 15 years. And the one thing that I was really the most surprised at, because you see a lot of people do this in a different way where they don't necessarily have the best years in business during the recession and when things were down. How did you fight through that? I mean, what were some things that you did as far as like to help differentiate? If you're, I know that's a long time ago,
Sure.
what, 2009,
No,
8,
it's
9,
okay.
yeah. What did you do?
That's okay. So I became full-time real estate in 2005. I got licensed at the end of 2004. And in 2005 and 2006, for the most part, agents that are in the industry would still say it was really, really easy. But as a new agent, I still felt that it was very, very difficult. And I worked, as you do as a new agent, anything that you try, you're like, you're trying everything and you're working, 50, 60, 70 hours a week making flyers, not realizing you should be out with people. I mean,
Right.
people tell you to go out and be with people, but you're still making flyers, right? So by the
Yeah.
time 2007, 2008 came around, um, I really kind of got the groove of things. And unfortunately, I got divorced in 2006, which caused me to be a single mom with children ages 5 and 7. So what
Yeah.
happened
Rough.
was I loved real estate. And I really just decided inside that failure was not an option. I didn't have a plan B, like if this didn't work out, I'll get a job at Target or,
Right.
that kind of thing. So when coaching agents or any entrepreneur doing anything that they really have passionate about and they really want to succeed at, I tell them, I said, you have to remove your plan B. If you have a plan B, it enables you like a crutch to not go 110% in on your plan A. And so that's what I would say contributed to that, because it was a struggle 2007, 2008, 2009. A lot of real estate agents, their cars were getting repossessed. They were having huge issues. And I was doubling my business each year because failure wasn't an option. So when they were kind of crying about the market, I was like, oh, short sales, I can learn this. Let's go. Right. And so that's kind of what I would say is get rid of your plan B and stay tunnel focused on where you're going. So.
Wow. Well, and that's impactful. It's powerful because so many people, and there was a video a few years back, I think it was Denzel Washington, was like fail forward and, don't have that plan B. Having a plan B so he must have gotten that from you, but I mean,
Yeah,
that's all.
maybe it
Yeah.
was Denzel Washington. I don't know.
Right, right. But no, I mean, well, that was just like 2 years ago. I remember that video. I was
Oh,
like, oh my God, it's so impactful.
it had to
But
have come from somewhere, right?
oh yeah, oh yeah. But to be able to say that, because I mean, I was in the industry too back and I wasn't in real estate. I was on the mortgage side, but I ended up leaving the industry because I was on the subprime side. So I mean, we were doing loans that, we were doing the pay option arm loans and we were doing negative
Yeah.
amortization. And I didn't know what I didn't know at that point. And I'm
Right.
like, oh, these are the greatest things ever. And then we were financing people over what their house was worth. And yeah, I mean, it was a tough time to say the least. But that's amazing that you're able to come out on the other side. I mean, so you've been now coaching now. How many years have you been coaching in total?
I launched my coaching business in January of 2017.
Oh
So
wow.
this
Okay.
January, it would be 3 years. Yeah. So
Okay. So in your opinion, what do you think is one of the biggest challenges that today's agents face? And if they're able to overcome that, they're able to really take their business to that next level.
I think one of the biggest challenges, whether it's someone in entrepreneurship or someone in the real estate business, it's getting clarity on what the right path is for you personally. I find a
Mm,
lot of agents get lost in what everybody else is doing And
Yep.
this agent, gets all their business by doing super mega open houses. And this agent gets all their business from internet lead generation. And this agent gets business from this avenue. And what they get stuck in what to do because they're looking for someone else to tell them, here's the secret formula, right? Yeah, go ahead, Kristen.
Go ahead, Kristen.
That's entrepreneurship in general. You have Gary Vee telling you what to do, and then you have Russell Brunson telling you what to do, and then you've got all this stuff. So it goes with entrepreneurship too,
right?
Definitely. So
yeah, and so
talking just about business in general. That's just what you have.
Right. And so, yeah, I absolutely. And so I think a lot of times agents, I just call it trusting yourself. So you're going to get to a point where if you're a brand new agent and you want to learn, go try open houses, go try for sale by owners, go try different methods that other people have had success with and see what resonates with you. And then kind of go all in on what resonates with you, right? I always ask my clients, like, hey, Matt, like, I know there's 50 different ways that you could go get 10 listings by March 31st, but what's the 1 or 2 ways that Matt is going to succeed at the highest level? And is that something you can sustain for the next 10 to 15 years and master, right? And give yourself permission to say, I don't go after expireds and not feel guilty about that.
Right. That is so powerful because, and a lot of times, and last year I trained with Frank Kern, which is like, he's, amazing marketer. He shows you how to do all this stuff. And what was happening is I had like 3 other people that were in that group. One was, I also trained with Ryan Stuman. And when I went through all this marketing knowledge and tech and how to do it, they would tell me, okay, well, the first thing you want to do is drop ads here. The first thing you want to do is, do videos. Oh no, don't do videos. Do a still image. I'm like, what the hell should I do? Because everyone's telling me different things. And then I'm like, okay, I really got to sit back and look at it and say, okay, what is it that I need to do personally for me? Now, I just joined another group called the Wave Makers, which I'm very excited about. But the one thing that's in that group is that it's one person telling everyone how to do it, but they're actually going in and they're giving you that step-by-step guidance, and they're saying, okay, what resonates, just like how you're saying, which is, I mean, it's so it just makes so much sense. What resonates with you? What do you feel like you're the best at? And then utilize that and work through your strengths with your ads, with your marketing, and then, test and tweak, but also be committed to it. Don't give up too soon. And I think when you have too many people in your ear, you're watching what everybody else is doing, you're trying to copy almost the wrong type of person. Not necessarily the wrong person, but maybe you're copying something that might not be applicable in your market, or maybe it's just not, maybe it just doesn't support who you want to be or what you want.
Yeah. And so I have these little signs behind me. You might not be able to see it if you're on mobile, but it says take action and be you. And that whole part that you're talking about right now about being yourself, I think there's a few things, especially in sales, is that people don't buy what you're selling. They buy your energy. And what comes along with energy is your confidence, right?
Yep.
So I think when you're being your natural self, like I know sometimes we have to turn up the volume on some sales skills, and I get that. Yeah. But when you're being yourself and you are portraying that energy, people are going to be attracted to doing business with you. And so when going back to that original question, like, how did I do it? I eliminated my plan B and I focused on plan A. What I realized is, first of all, I was a single mom, disorganized, complete mess. However, what I did really well is I was present in the lives of others, and I was present in my community, and I had a positive energy. And when they thought of real estate, they thought, oh, I know a friend, I have someone, and they thought of me. Even Gary Keller will say your goal is when people think of real estate, you want them to think of you. And so even though I didn't have all of these systems and all of these methods of how I worked my database, right? Mm-hmm. Which would have been ideal. I did build a relationship-based business because somehow I was present in the lives of others and I was portraying that energy, right? And so it's like that worked for me, right? But it might not work for others. And so what I found in managing and coaching others that have all different personality styles, some agents don't like relationships. They don't like a lot of people, right? And so they're like, hey, I'd rather get 90 no's and cold call strangers than deal with my family and friends. That's okay. It just depends on what you're after, right?
And I think too, another thing, I don't remember I cannot remember his name. Something Cortez, burn the boats. But like you're burning your boats if you are saying, because so many people, like your boat might be, okay, well, my backup is I'm gonna do this process instead, or if this doesn't work, I'll do this. But people don't necessarily always put in enough time or energy or effort or even attention or focus into that one thing, and they give up on it too soon. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. And it's Hernando, H-E-R, I think it's Hernando Cortez.
Hernando Cortez, yeah.
Burn the ships, right?
Yeah.
And so, again, I think it goes back to that confidence. It's once you've exposed yourself to the different avenues of how you can, be successful, choosing that one or two or three different ways in your industry. I would say focus on one, maybe two, but choosing those two things. And then just like you said, burn the ships or burn the boats of the other one and give yourself permission. But the one thing that takes is you believing in yourself, you trusting yourself, and you have confidence in the one thing that you've chosen. That's where I think people get caught up. So they don't trust themselves. I don't know how many agents come to me and say, Jacqui, I'm fed up. I'm desperate. I don't know what to do. If you tell me what to do, I'll just do it. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do because that's not sustainable for 15 years. I'm going to help you figure out what to do, and I'm going to help you trust yourself. That's what I'm going to do.
You're helping facilitate the growth, and it allows them to be the true them. It allows them to operate in their superpower. So I love that.
Right. Yep. Absolutely.
Let's talk about something a little more personal, but it'll be fun.
Oh, geez. And by the way, you told me none of these questions, so I have no idea.
No, I didn't. Because I like it to be free flowing. But I'm gonna give my take. I'm gonna give my take on it as well, because so when you work at home with your spouse or your significant other, how do you balance that life between? And sometimes I still struggle with this because I'm a workaholic. I have a problem. And that's why, like, if you probably hear it in my voice, like I work until I'm sick. It's just what I do. I'm not. It's a good thing, but it also can be dangerous at times. How do you just disconnect? Like, how do you turn off? Because so many people now are working from home. How do you say, hey, you know what? It's time for, it's Ryan and I time, or for me, it's Stephanie and I time. Like, how do you do that? Like, what do you do?
I would say the first thing would be environment. I will not have the laptop in the bedroom, like that kind of thing. I have a desktop and I have a desk and I have my office space. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have the luxury of, he has his office space, I have my office space. Sharing an office sucks, especially when you're with someone like me that's passionate and talks loud. My husband can tell you. So I would say, what I really want to say is the key of it all is to have someone like Ryan Bowman just being the nice guy that he is. But I would say it's environment. And so what I tend to do is make sure that when I'm working, I'm at my desk. I don't take work to the kitchen. I don't take work to the dining room table. So I try to keep my devices, like my laptop and stuff, in my office. Now, what I'll do is, if it's Sunday and it's football day, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to get this many send out cards out while we watch football together. And that's okay. Cause we're laying around all day, so we might as well, do that. But I would just say it's environment and separating the two. If you can. I remember when we were in a smaller home, I actually cleaned out a closet that was probably 4 feet by 3 feet. It was like a 12 square foot area.
Yeah.
And I think it was Gary Keller that said, create yourself a bunker, like to go do your cold calling and do your thing. So I had to put the brightest light I could find in this closet. And I literally built like a shelf that I bracketed to the wall. And it was like, I'm going to leave my work in here and I'm going to come in here to do my calling and things like that. But that wasn't sustainable. And I'm not doing that anymore. But I'm just saying, be creative, I guess. And instead of you becoming your work everywhere you go, try to leave work in one space. That would probably be my best advice.
That is powerful. And it's funny because Stephanie wrote, I totally agree. Matt and I shared an office for a while. It was difficult because he was so loud. I had to get my own office space. Yeah. I mean, she literally, she'll be like, shut the hell up, like from the other room. And I'm like, I'm on a sales call. She's like, and then there are times like she'll understand if I'm on a sales call, but like there'll be times where I'm talking to like my staff and she's like, you're screaming, keep it down a little bit. It's like, I told her, I have to get you those Bose, like the Bose quiet wave. So like listen to like music or listen to a podcast or listen to whatever and drown me out. Because there are times throughout the day I'm super quiet. She won't tell you that, but There are times throughout the day I'm very quiet. And then there are other times that I am just super loud. And then one thing that I really had to season myself, and it's not probably the best way of saying it, but I had to get myself in a mindset of realizing that we're working together in collaboration as a team. I can't just go into our office whenever I want. I'm like, hey, what's going on with this? Can you tell me what's happening here? Let's talk through this. And it's like, I'm in the middle of something. Like, so literally we block out time in a calendar. I think too, having like date nights and, separating that work from, separating the work from the actual, your personal life and your relationship is so important. And with kids, does that add, I'm sure it probably adds an entire new dimension.
It creates the mommy guilt, but I think Kristen had something. Go ahead.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I'm the type of person, if I get pulled away by something, it takes me forever to get back to where I was. I'm like, oh God, where was I? And then it like takes me like another 20 minutes of like me being in a groove writing emails or whatever I'm doing. If I get pulled away with something, it's really difficult for me to go back to what I was doing and be like, I need to get back into it again. Like when I'm interrupted, it doesn't do me any good at all. Yeah. So working together and respecting each other's time is amazing just because you don't want to lose that valuable time, that valuable 45 minutes you could have had to finish.
Yeah. I would probably, if Ryan and I were working closer together, like we were at one time, we were both heavily selling together. He did mostly the buy side, I did mostly the list side. So when you're heavily intertwined in the same business and you're working together consistently, I think implementing something to where when ideas come up, and I'm sure this is the same for you, Matt. It's like, if you don't get it off your chest now, you're going to forget about it. So you're going to charge in there and you're going to say, hey, Stephanie, what's going on with this thing? Right. But I would say implement a system for yourself of like, every time I think of something, I'm going to email her and we're going to have a 20-minute huddle at the beginning of the day and a 20-minute huddle at the end of the day. And if it's something that is urgent at that moment because a client needs something and you're not sure if she already did it, that's one thing. But I think for the most part, just trying to create a habit that creates that space for both of you, I think would probably work.
Like parking lot. Okay, this is stuff we need to work on. Like corporate sales, that's what they do. If you ask something in training, they don't know what it is, they put it in the parking lot. So you just get the same
Right.
I thought you were saying I need to go find a parking lot and make calls from out there. I was like, I get it.
Well, this is what we could do. We could just have Stephanie get a little consolation from Ryan on how to deal with people like us.
Yeah.
And then your go-to line is, but Stephanie, people are buying my energy.
Yes, exactly. And you're right. And we're so fortunate because we do have, she used to actually sit like right behind me. So literally her desk was right here. And that lasted for all but maybe a month because I was so loud, and she would come in and she'd wait until I'm not in here, and I'm always in here. So she'd try to find times that I wasn't in there. And then when I wasn't in there, I wanted to do, personal stuff, like, hey, let's watch something together, let's hang out together, let's do something. And she's like, well, no, this is the only time I have that I can actually get some work done. So now she's in. So we have a 4-bedroom house. So we have like a photography studio and a videography studio. So she's in there, and I mean, she actually has the nicer office of the two of us. Her office is awesome, but I love my office. But she's got like it's a little bit more wide open, but the fact that like we have hardwood floors throughout the whole house, so everything reverberates and it's just loud. So
she's got to put a muffler at the bottom of her door because she can still hear you 5 rooms over. That's
oh
me.
yeah, she could still hear me clear as day. And
Right.
Sav said yes, as a staff member, Matt does scream. So yes,
I saw that.
I do get passionate on the phone. I definitely get loud.
Right.
So now with Ryan, so Ryan is actively. What areas does Ryan? You said you're in the Kent area, so I mean he's essentially doing real estate all over that area.
Yes, northern Summit County for the most part, Akron, Cuyahoga Falls, a little bit of maybe North Canton, all the way up to Macedonia, Twinsburg, Kent, Stowe, Cuyahoga Falls, West Akron, that whole northern Summit County. And then in Portage County, it would be Kenton, Ravenna, Brimfield, Talmadge, so we're in that area. That's all within a half hour of our home. So
Kristen, Kristen was actually an agent as well. Kristen, did you ever do those areas, or where were you out of, or were you more Youngstown?
I didn't really do out there so much. Some of the prettiest areas, because I tell you, I spend a lot of time out there now since I'm back in Ohio, and that whole Bath and Richfield and Hudson and it's just gorgeous over there, right? Well, I did a little bit more like in Lyndhurst and Beechwood and Orange and Solon. I did a lot of that, and then I did up in Lake County. I started moving down closer, but I tell you, some of the most beautiful homes I've ever seen have been like University Heights, Shaker Heights. They're just unspeakably beautiful there.
Yeah.
So I sold in that area. I know with the area that maybe, like, it seems like it's in some of those areas, it's more property.
Yes.
Like if you live in Bath or you live I believe that's where LeBron James has his house.
Oh yeah.
Really good price range over there. That's not shabby. So yeah, I respect agents who work in that, because that can be a really high market over there. There's some definite wealthy folks.
It all depends on where you're at, right? Yeah. And the one thing I love is, it's if we get people from Cuyahoga County moving here, there's such a significant difference in the tax that it's cool. But when we have people from down here that are like, oh, I'm going to move to Strongsville, I'm like, oh, well, be prepared. Like, if you think you're buying 250, you're buying like a 210, 220, based on the taxes, monthly payments. So that's a big change for folks moving north versus south, but it's cool. You get a little bit more land, and
it's crazy. It's crazy the difference, because I was actually looking at a few other cities, because I'm in Cuyahoga, and I mean taxes are ridiculous. But
at least it's not New York. It's not New York.
That's true. And it's not California. I mean, so there's plenty of places with bigger expenses.
The biggie too. New Jersey's up there. That's nuts.
Oh yeah.
That whole for a cable company down in Florida, and we'd get people come down, and they were so happy about the tax breaks. I mean, what they would tell me they would pay for 6 months in taxes, it floored me. I mean, I was like, oh my goodness.
It's crazy. So Jacqui, so we talk a lot, like in marketing, we talk about ideal client profile. And by the way, for everybody that's on or just joining us, I'm going to actually this is Jacqui's. If you guys are interested in finding out more about her coaching, you can go there, but you can also direct message her on Facebook. If you are not, and you're just under Jacqui Bowman on Facebook, right? No
Jacqui Bowman on Facebook.
Good. So as far as like someone that's coming to you, if I'm a brand new realtor and I need someone, like, would you be the one to go to, or would you say, no, I'm more for people that have already been doing this for a while? Like, what is like your ideal client, if there is one?
Sure. So I have the ability to help new agents. I have ability to help agents that are currently growing their business. But I think where I am, I guess, magical, or I'm in my passion zone, would be with agents that are telling me, I'm doing 40 units a year, I'm doing 50 units a year. I'm not sure if I want to grow a team or what I need to do, but I'm working from 7 a.m. till 2 in the morning and my life sucks and I'm ready to quit. That's my girl. That is my girl right there. That is my ideal client, because the key word to, I think, most of what I coach on is getting clarity and then trusting yourself. And a lot of those type of folks don't take the time out to get clarity. So what I'll do is I'll just charge them for that and guide them through it.
Yeah.
And when someone makes that investment and I pause and I say, listen, over the next 8 to 12 weeks, your life is going to significantly change. You're going to gain control and you're going to have clear direction. And we're going to help you make more money working less, because this is more about net life than it is about how many units you do. Let's go through this and figure out, because they're still fighting with, I've got these internet leads I haven't followed up with. All these things are slipping through the cracks. My kids hate me. I'm about to get divorced and I suck. And that's where they're getting that feeling. And I've been through all of that. So that's where I feel like I'm best served. And at this point in my career, helping new agents, I love it. I have a lot of passion around it, but they're all starting out with paying a bunch of fees too. So it really doesn't fund my coaching business, right? So I still love to help. I love to teach classes. I've got a lot of pre-recordings I can send and things like that. But my ideal client, I'm looking for that client that's already having success. But now let's talk about the other 6 areas of your life, so that you're not always feeling like, I'll get to my health, or I'll get to my family, or I'll get to these things once I accomplish this, right? They're finding a lot of significance in awards and how much volume they do, instead of really saying, okay, now that I've got this great business, I've got to take a step back and get clarity on what's really important to me. And I was that mom when my kids were younger, and I was a single mom, a top agent in my marketplace, and I would walk around all day saying my kids were the most important thing to me. But if you followed me around with a video camera, it was a lie. And those are the people I'm looking for. Not to get all emotional on everybody, but those are the people I'm looking for. I'm here to help you. So I've been there. So that's what I would say my ideal client is.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't have the kids, so it's the only thing that, my cats would probably, if they could talk, they'd say, oh yeah, that guy's never around, never pays any attention to me. But I mean, yeah, as far as like, I think my biggest obstacle with the whole working, having an office that is not an actual, office location or working out of the house would be separation of like digital, having your phone and constantly being on your phone in the room doing work, or being on your laptop. I mean, we've had plenty of times that we're both, we're in the room and like, I got the lights turned off, I'm going to bed, and Stephanie's, on the laptop, or vice versa. She's trying to go to sleep and I'm there messing on the phone or yelling, talking to someone. So I get it. I think
Did you guys ever go to dinner and have the waitress come over to take your order and you're both texting and you're feeling judged? Like, that's me sometimes. Like, this probably thinks we're crazy because we're here sitting together and we're both like this, right? But it happens. It happens. It's hard.
Well, and especially I think when you're an entrepreneur, because everyone has, we've taken on this whole Uber and Netflix and Amazon on demand. I need it now. I want it right now. Instant gratification. Give me the results. Give me the best of the best. I need this immediately. So we tend to be so dialed into everything. And it's like, there are times you just have to be like, it's almost a discipline. It's not almost a discipline. It is a discipline. You need to be disciplined enough to say, to hell with this phone. I'm putting it in my pocket, or I'm shutting it off. I mean, I've had times where I have to shut my phone off because I'm getting dinged and notified of stuff. And I'm like in the middle of working on something, like, oh my gosh, this needs to be shut off or I'm not going to accomplish anything.
Right. So, well, and I do discuss that a lot with my coaching clients because like, for example, right now for you, it doesn't matter who's texting you right now or what's going on. You're not answering it. Right. So the capacity of you to set your phone down and shut it completely off for an hour is there. You know you can do it. It's the conscious choice of, all of those reasons of why you don't do it. And if you haven't looked this up, it's Simon Sinek. Does everybody know Simon Sinek, The Power of Why?
Yes.
If you just look up, he has videos on cell phone and how when people text us and ask us for things, our hardwired response in our brain is that someone texts me, someone asks me a question, and for our ego, it says someone needs me, right? I'm going to take this problem and solve it and send it back out. I'm going to take this person, take care of them, and send it back out. And what's happened over the past 5-7 years with us is that this has happened over and over and over and over again. So the minute that you, Matt, decide you're going to shut your phone off, it is a flat out addiction, and you will actually feel very uncomfortable because you don't have that.
Yep.
And so he does a lot of videos on that, and he's done a lot of research on it. And so I don't think it's something to be shameful about, because what a lot of us do is we feel guilty about it, right?
Yep.
But the reason you should take the shame out of that is you being responsive has gotten you the success that you have, number one. But number two, realizing that the hardwires in your brain are going to be much stronger than that hour when you shut it off. You will feel like it's something that you need. And that's normal. And a lot of people don't realize that, and they beat themselves up over it. So I say, watch some of his videos and learn about that and realize it's going to take practice. And so what I tell my agents to do, as I said, write this down. I am going to practice withdrawal from my phone, because that's exactly what it is. You have to practice it and keep doing it. So
as I'm actually
practice and get rid of the shame and guilt around the fact that you've conditioned your brain to need that. It feeds your ego, and we're all problem solvers. Like, humans are wired to have a problem, let's fix it, right? Is that a song? If I've got a problem, yo, let's fix it. No.
Oh yeah. Right. I totally can resonate with all of that, though, because it's and there are times, I mean, because I've met a lot of people, like there was a gentleman, Robbie Bro is his name. He's in Lafayette. He's actually in our coaching community. And he was telling me that the one thing that they would do is he would block out every day at least 1 to 2 hours with his wife, because they're both also in the industry. They have a team that sells a couple hundred homes a year, so they're super busy all the time. They got kids, and the one thing we say is, okay, well, you need to shut off the phone for that specific time so that you can spend the time with your significant other and not spend the time, on the phone, because that's not the most important thing at that point in time. And I'm sure there's away messages. I would assume there's probably something you can put on your phone to just send out, like, oh, hey, I'm not at my phone right now. I don't know, Kristen, what were you going to say?
Just because this is just funny, we always make jokes that I sold so long ago. My broker had a beeper, but he would turn the beeper off during dinner.
I love it.
I swear he did. He had a beeper, and he'd say, "Kristen, I'm turning this damn thing off." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, so and that was 1996.
Right.
Wow.
So it's just really funny. That still holds true. It's just, this is our beeper now, this phone that does everything. Phone.
Right. Well, and going back to the ego thing, I think it's us making the conscious choice to turn it off and being okay with that. Because if you're on like in Northeast Ohio, a $500,000 listing is pretty good, right? If you're at a $500,000 listing and it's taking 2 hours,
yep,
you're not answering your phone. So realizing that you're not losing business, people trick themselves into thinking that they're losing business because they turned their phone off for 2 hours. But what it really is even as much as they say they hate it and they don't like it and they want to throw the phone in the lake, it subconsciously is their comfort zone. This is another really good thing to write down. Sometimes my comfort zone is negative, and sometimes my comfort zone is positive, right?
Yeah.
And so your comfort zone is you having your phone on and you solving problems 24 hours a day. But that doesn't mean that's where you want to be. and realize that when change and we take you out of your comfort zone is going to feel different. Like when you pull that arrow back and you're shaking, that's how you're going to feel when you turn your phone off. And you're not preoccupied with the $500,000 seller. Now you're supposed to be playing games with your children, or you're supposed to be present during dinner with your wife.
Yep.
You are going to feel uncomfortable, and that's where the guilt comes in.
Or not playing games on your phone. I mean, I've done that once or twice before.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's so easy to do. So no, that's so powerful. And I guess the whole thing was I wasn't trying necessarily to turn everything into the relationship side of things and how that affects it, but it's impactful for everybody. It's not just realtors. It's not just loan officers or entrepreneurs. I mean, everybody. I mean, we're so addicted to our phones. We're so addicted to the digital media. And I mean, hey, everyone's watching us probably on their phones and digital media. So I appreciate all of you. Don't get me wrong. It's just, but it's knowing. Yeah, we love y'all, but it's knowing when to shut it down, knowing when it's affecting your relationship. And you know what I've noticed as someone who trains people on sales and how to persuade and influence over the phone, people don't even know how to persuade and influence or even have conversations anymore in person, I've noticed. Where, and I'm not saying everybody, but we've become so conditioned to, we have this phone that's the barrier between us, that having just a heart-to-heart conversation with someone is almost painful. And it's surprising as to how that works.
It's funny because my daughter right now is doing a fundraiser. She's a senior. She's 17. Hopefully she's not going to see this because I'm talking about her. But to watch her make a phone call to try to get someone to sponsor her event is painful for me to watch. Yeah. Because she can't call a company and she can't text a company and ask them.
Right.
And so what she does is she talks really, really, really fast. And, and I know that sales skills takes time.
Oh yeah.
But just to see the discomfort with conversation, it was eye-opening for me. That was just this week. I'm like, oh, we need to work on this.
You're right. When I was hiring, so this was back in 2017, we had a call center that was downtown in, it was actually right outside of Cleveland State University. So we would hire these kids from CSU, and I mean, they were sharp. Like they would present themselves very well. They were well versed. They were very good at. There were so many things they were great at, but when it came to actually getting on the phone, it was like all of a sudden their demeanor would change. It would get awkward. And I'm like, guys, like what's changed? We were just role playing this and you guys everything was perfect. And then all of a sudden the phone got in there and like, you just like freeze up, don't know what to say, don't know how to, and I'm like, there's nothing different. And I was throwing the exact same objections, the exact same flack they were getting from these other prospects, but they struggled because it was that, oh my gosh, I have to actually get on the phone now and overcome these and have a real conversation and be interested instead of being interesting. So I don't know if that,
Yeah, I think it's just foreign territory. Like I said to myself was, how many opportunities has she had in her life to have a phone conversation?
Yeah. Maybe
it's always
family members
or through texting or commenting or direct messaging. So really, I think it's just the foreign territory. And what I feel bad about is I'm not in judgment of her. I could just see how painfully she was struggling with it. And that like, oh, I felt bad for her, I'm like, eeh. So yeah.
Yep. And it just shows that, there are a lot of, as we progress, as we go into business, I mean, there's going to be, that's why I have all these guys that literally tell me, hey, I'll run your Facebook advertising for you. I'll do your social media. I'll do all of these things for you. And I mean, I pretty much almost every time, like resoundingly, nope. I hire them to do anything else. But I feel like that is the tool to get you to the next level in business, in life, in the future, because everyone is utilizing these platforms. And I'm not saying the phone is dying anytime soon.
Oh, right.
That's it. But I mean, I will tell you, I mean, just running, having an inside sales call center, I mean, we've got people where now we've started to utilize more of the texting. We've started to utilize more of even finding people on social media, or I'll actually show agents how to retarget. And if they got like a certain
Right.
list of people they want us to call, I'll be like, hey, here's how you create a custom list on Facebook to do it. So
Right.
it's just changing the way that we approach the business and changing the way so that we have more of an attract and not chase strategy. And have you noticed that agents have started really kind of adopting more of the technology side, or is that still something that's kind of a rocking everyone's shoe?
I think it depends on the style of what they're doing in their real estate business.
Sure.
I primarily coach relationship-based business, and the way that we utilize social media is exactly what you said. Back in the day, and still at many companies, they train you to call your database and call your sphere and check in on them. And the fact of the matter is 80% of our database does not want you interrupting their day. And it's okay to text them. It's okay to private message them. It's okay to love on all their posts. It's okay to send out cards. And so how can I be present in the lives of others in 2020 in a way that they're receptive, right? Because 90% of our business is referral based. And so my goal is to get agents into that tunnel of, okay, what are the one, maybe two things you're going to zero in on? If you're going to coach with me, one of them is going to be your personal database, because people are buying you, right? And so we do utilize that technology as far as Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Where are your people hanging out? That's where you need to hang out and contribute and make deposits with other people. So but yeah, I agree. I mean, even though you're in that personal relationship thing, there's a lot of agents that tell me, well, I don't do social media. And I'm like, well, all your people are hanging out there at 8, 9 p.m. and they're just scrolling. So you might as well let them scroll by your face, right? Like, I know you don't like it, but let's talk about it, right? So
Frank Kern had this outlandish thing he used to say, and I mean, I don't know if he still says it, but I remember when I was in the coaching group, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. But he said people kind of hang around like with their umbilical cords, looking to plug into something, plug into someone, like they're looking for that energy source of some source. It is such a twisted thing to say, but he's like, why not be the energy source? And I'm like, makes a lot of sense. Like, and it really hits you on a level. You're like, wow, like I never really thought about it like that. But yeah, people are looking for something to plug into, and especially now with the way everything is so, digitized. So, well, Jacqui, I know, guys, just total open disclaimer here. So when we met with Jacqui last week, it was funny because we're like, hey, would you be on our podcast? We'd love to have you on. And literally she pulls out her phone. This was the one time she had available, like almost all week, like literally her whole calendar. I'm like,
it was all colors, and the noon to 1 was completely blank. I'm like, you're never going to believe this.
No,
and like, have to do it now.
And every other day was booked solid. I'm like, how does this even? I'm like, it's perfect. Like, it must have been meant to be. So, Jacqui, seriously, thank you so much. You dropped so much value on this, and I mean, I'm glad. I took a bunch of notes. So, I mean, I was sitting there taking notes because I mean, you dropped a lot of great stuff. So, thank you so much for jumping on. Kristen, thank you. And guys, if you guys want to get a hold of Jacqui, go to JacquiBowman.work or find her on Facebook.
Messenger, I mean, out of anything, texting, email, whatever, it's Facebook Messenger. So
I know, it's so true.
It's for me. So
if you're in sales and you're watching this, guys, by the way, and you're having trouble getting hold of a prospect, try Facebook Messenger. It is a game changer. Just throwing that out there if you don't already know. All right, everybody.
Nice meeting you.
Have an awesome week.
Thanks.
See you guys.